और जो विधेयक पास किया है सरकार ने, ये सरासर किसान विरोधी है। किसानों को ये कहा जा रहा है ऑनलाइन खरीद बिक्री कर सकते हैं, तो यह एक लॉलीपॉप है।
जब ये पता चल रहा है कि दूसरे देशों में यही नीतियां आत्महत्या करवा रही हैं किसानों से, तो वही नीतियां हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी क्यों ला रहे हैं?
जो दावा करते हैं बड़े बड़े कि हम किसानों के साथ में हैं, किसानों को हम ये उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं, हमको ये उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं, कहीं कुछ नहीं मिलता हमको। खाली बातें होती हैं, किताबों में लिखा जाता है ये हो रहा वो हो रहा, लेकिन किसानों तक कोई चीज़ मुहैया नहीं हो पा रही अभी तक।
आप अपना मनमाना करेंगे, अपनी तानाशाही करेंगे, और यही जो बिजनेसमैन हैं उनको आप उद्योगपतियों को बढ़ाएंगे और किसानों को क्या करेंगे, अपने पैरों तले रो देंगे बस।
The two contentious farm bills that government terms as major agriculture reforms were passed in the parliament on Sunday by voice vote. This happened amid a massive protest by opposition MPs in favour of physical voting instead of the voice vote. Some of the opposition MPs entered the well without any concern for social distancing and COVID rules. The videos from inside the parliament, inside the Rajya Sabha, show that Aam Admi party's Sanjay Singh climbing on top of the desk of Rajya Sabha secretary. TMC MP Derek Obrien tried to tear the Rajya Sabha rulebook, and some MPs even tried to snatch the mic of the speaker. After this whole ruckus yesterday, 8 MPs were suspended today. Interestingly, not only the opposition, but even the own ally of the Modi government has been opposing the controversial farm bills. Few days back, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, leader of the Akali Dal, resigned from the post of Union Food Processing Minister. The party is yet to take a decision over whether it wants to stay with the NDA or not. Meanwhile, farmers in the Punjab and Haryana belt are out on the streets. There have been massive protests days before the bills were tabled in Lok Sabha as well. In Punjab, a 70-year-old farmer protesting the bills consumed poison and died few days later. So even while Prime Minister Modi calls it a watershed moment in the history of agricultural reforms in India and the need of 20th century, the opposition to the bills continue. So the government is not only facing flack from the opposition parties, but there is a tremendous pressure as far as farmers' protest is concerned. PM Modi even today, while announcing several new projects in poll-bound Bihar, spent a good few minutes talking about the 3 bills, explaining the government side. In this video today, we are going to talk about those 3 bills, the provisions and why they are being opposed. Let's first talk about the 3 bills. Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. Now this first bill essentially deals with the marketing part of the agriculture business. So far, the Agriculture Produce Market Committees, popularly known as APMCs, have had a monopoly over the farm transaction, but this bill says that the monopoly will be ended. So it does not essentially mean that APMC will be completely abolished. But then, those choosing to sell outside the designated mandis or APMCs don't have to pay the taxes that are associated with these mandis. Let's talk about the second bill, that is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. This particular bill concerns contract farming. This allows farmers to sell their produce outside of the APMCs via a framework where farmers enter into a direct contract with those who wish to buy farm produce. It paves a way for a farming agreement before the production or rearing of any farm produce with a sponsor. There has to be a duration for the agreement between the farmer and the sponsor, and in this agreement, the price for the purchase must also be mentioned beforehand. Let's talk about the third bill, that is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill. The original law is based on a British era law which regulated how much produce could be stored and sold in India. The same law was inherited in independent India as well. In the 1960s, this created a license Raj system where farmers were jailed for keeping products that exceeded the government's sanction amount. This led to a creation of a middleman who most of the times are ones to benefit. Now let's talk about the provision and opposition for each bill. The first bill, that is Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. Let's talk about the provisions. First of all, it aims to create an ecosystem where farmers and traders can enjoy the freedom to sell and purchase farm produce outside the registered mandis under the state's APMCs. It will also promote a barrier-free interstate and intrastate trade of farmers' produce, and it will also reduce marketing and transportation cost and help the farmers in getting better prices. It also aims to provide a facilitative framework for electronic trading. Now, what is the opposition to this bill? States will lose revenues as they won't be able to collect the mandi fees if farmers sell their produce outside the registered APMC markets. Now, in case of Haryana, the mandi tax there is 8%. So, the state will lose the revenue. Then the question of what happens to commission agents in the states if entire farm trade moves out of the mandis. That also is the question here. Further, the bill may eventually end the MSP-based procurement system, and that has been the major contention of the farmers. Electronic trading system like e-Naam also use the physical mandi structure. Now, what will happen to e-Naam if mandis are destroyed in absence of any trading? That is also one of the contention point, and that is one of the opposition to this bill. Now, let's talk about the second bill, that is the Farmer Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. This bill says that farmers can enter into a contract with agribusiness firms, processors, wholesalers, exporters or large retailers for the sale of future farming produce at a pre-agreed price. Marginal and small farmers with land less than 5 hectares will gain via aggregation and contract. Now, marginal and small farmers account for 86% of the total farmers in India. This bill will also facilitate transfer of the risk of market unpredictability from farmers to sponsors. It will enable farmers to access modern technology and get the better inputs. It will also reduce the cost of marketing and boost the farmers' income. Farmers can also engage in direct marketing by eliminating all the intermediaries, the middlemen, for full price realization. Effective dispute resolution mechanism with redressal timeline is also proposed in this particular bill. Now, what is the opposition? The farmer says that those in contract farming arrangement will be the weaker player in terms of their ability to negotiate what they need. The sponsors may not like to deal with multitude of small and marginal farmers. Being a big private companies, exporters, wholesalers and processors, the sponsors will have an edge in the dispute. Now, this is the concern about this particular bill. Let's talk about the third bill, that is the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. What are the provisions? It aims to remove the commodities like cereals, pulses, oilseeds, onions and potatoes from the list of essential commodities. It will do away with the imposition of stock holding limits on such items except under extraordinary circumstances like war. This provision will attract private sector or FDI into farm sector, as it will remove the fears of private investors of excessive regulatory interference in business operation. This also aims at bringing investment for farm infrastructure like cold storages and modernizing of food supply chain. It will help both the farmers and consumers by bringing in price stability. What is the opposition? Big companies will have the freedom to stock commodities. It means that they will dictate the terms to farmers, which may lead to less prices for the cultivators. The opposition is already equating it to East India Company. Recent decision on export ban on onions also create a doubt on its implementation. Now, these are the pros and cons of the three farm bills in some form. While at the outset the intention seems to be good, but the buck stops at the implementation. The major complaint of the farmers was they were not consulted on this before bringing the bill in the parliament. There are certain areas that also need some more clarity, and it has to be the government which steps in to allay the fears. Do let us know what you think in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.